Hello again, welcome to class 390. Wow, we're getting closer and closer. We're getting closer and closer to class 400. Closer and closer, cada vez más cerca, closer and closer to class number 400, but this is class 390. So, first ever, when was the last time, tengo chuleta hoy, eh? When was the last time you went to the North Pole? Me? I've never gone to the North Pole. When was the last time you flew to Mongolia? I've never flown to Mongolia. When was the last time Bolivia won the World Cup in football? Bolivia has never won the World Cup. When was the last time you took me to the airport? I've never taken you to the airport. When was the last time there was a volcano in Madrid? There's never been. There has never been. There's never been a volcano in Madrid. When was the last time you were a French teacher? I've never been a French teacher. When was the last time you gave me a tip? I've never given you a tip. You know, if you go to a restaurant and the service is good, sometimes you leave a tip. But in my English classes, I give a good English class and my students don't leave me a tip. I think my students should leave me a tip. All right. When did you last have malaria? Malaria? Me? I've never had malaria. When was the last time you were able to live without food and water? I've never been able to live without food and water. When did you last have yellow fever? Excuse me? Yellow fever. Fiebre amarilla. Me? What? Excuse me? When was the last time you had yellow fever? I've never had yellow fever. When was the last time there was a dead body in your car? A dead body. Un cadáver. Cuerpo muerto, dices. A dead body, yes. Where? In my car. Yes. When was the last time there was a dead body in your car? There's never been a dead body in my car. Never. When did you last have tuberculosis? Excuse me? Tuberculosis. Tuberculosis. Yes. Tuberculosis. When was the last time you had tuberculosis? I've never had tuberculosis. I've never had malaria. I've never had polio. I've never had tuberculosis. I've never had yellow fever. Strange questions. When did you last fight in a war? I've never fought in a war. When did you last buy a Ferrari? I've never bought a Ferrari. When was the last time there were 5 general elections in the same year? In Spain? There have never been 5 general elections in the same year in Spain. There have never been. Nunca ha habido 5 elecciones generales aquí. In the same year. There have never been 5 general elections in the same year. And when did you last teach me the irregular verbs in German? I've never taught you the irregular verbs in German. So, when was the last time you went to the North Pole? I've never gone. Pero la pregunta también puede ser, have you ever gone to the North Pole? Have you ever flown to Mongolia? Have you ever taken me to the airport? Has Bolivia ever won the World Cup? Has there ever been a volcano in Madrid? Have you ever given me a tip? Have you ever had malaria? Have you ever had tuberculosis? Have you ever had yellow fever? Have you ever had polio? Have you ever been able to live without food and water. Have you ever had, has there ever been a dead body in your car? Have you ever fought in a war? Have you ever bought a Ferrari? Has there ever been, or have there ever been, 5 general elections in 1 year? And have I ever taught you the irregular verbs in German? So, te he enseñado una vez los verbos irregulares en alemán. Have I ever? Have you ever? Has he ever? Has she ever? Have they ever? Have we ever? Has there ever? ¿Ha habido alguna vez un tornado en Madrid? Has there, al estilo americano? Has there ever been? Has there ever been? ¿Ha habido alguna vez 5 elecciones generales en un solo año? Have there ever been? No, there's never been. I've never had. She's never had. He's never had, etc. Okay, page 375.22. Deberías estudiar más. You should. Recuerda, should es recomendación, sugerencia. No es obligación. Si es obligación, diría you have to. You have to study more. You have to study more. You must study more. No estoy obligándote, pero estoy instando encarecidamente con you must study more. Please, hombre, you must study more. Now, should, oye, deberías estudiar más en mi opinión. Okay, no hay mucha fuerza aquí, pero es recomendación o sugerencia. You should study more. You should. Y cuando es ayer, you should have. Debías haber estudiado más. Deberías haber estudiado más. No sé decirlo. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. Tenías que haber estudiado un poco más ayer. You should have studied more yesterday. You should have. Should have or shouldn't have. For example, I didn't go to Valencia last week. And I'm sorry I didn't go. Lamento no haber ido a Valencia la semana pasada. I'm sorry I didn't go. Do you understand? Do you understand? I'm sorry I didn't go. O sea, lamento no haber ido a Valencia. O sea, lamento no. En inglés, I'm sorry I didn't go. Es siento no fui. I'm sorry I didn't go. O sea, siento no haber ido a Valencia la pasada semana. I should have gone, but I didn't. I should have gone, but I didn't. I'm sorry I didn't study French more thoroughly. I should have studied many years ago, but it's too late now. I should have studied French more when I was young, but now it's too late. I'm sorry I didn't extend my running to the 800 meters, from the 400 meters to the 800. I'm sorry I didn't extend the distance. Really, I should have done it. I should have extended the distance. Yes. I'm sorry I came to Spain. Yeah. I shouldn't have come. Lamento haber venido a España. No tenía que haber venido. O sea, no debería haber venido. I shouldn't have come. Cualquier cosa que lamentas haber hecho, o lamentas no haber hecho, entra should have or shouldn't have. Yeah, I shouldn't have. Digamos que todo lo que he hecho en la vida, me arrepiento de todo. Imaginemos. I'm sorry I grew up in Texas. Well, no. I'm sorry I came to Spain. It was a mistake. I'm sorry I started teaching English. It was a mistake. I'm sorry I started this company. It was a big mistake. In retrospect, I shouldn't have come to Spain. I shouldn't have become an English teacher. I shouldn't have started this company. I shouldn't have created this television. This was crazy project of television. I shouldn't have spent so much time creating this method. Vaya perder tiempo. What a waste of time. I shouldn't have spent so much time trying to teach people English. It's an impossible task. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have bought these pencils. Me traen por el camino de la locura. You know, I shouldn't have, really, no tenía que ver. It was a mistake to buy these pencils for this class. I shouldn't have done it. And I shouldn't have brought that guitar, this miniature guitar, because I receive a lot of emails from viewers who say, why do you have that silly guitar? So it seems that nobody likes the guitar. So my conclusion is it was a mistake to bring that guitar. I shouldn't have brought it. I should not have. No, tenía que haberlo traído. No debí traerlo. I shouldn't have brought it. I shouldn't have included it in this set. In el plateau is the set. I shouldn't have considered that possibility. It was a mistake. And these two books, in retrospect, including these two books here, was a mistake. I shouldn't have included these books. I shouldn't have included these books. I should have found different books. I should have brought different books. Yes. Things from the past that we are sorry we did, or that we're sorry we didn't do. For example, Napoleon made a mistake when he tried to control Spain. He shouldn't have entered Spain. That was his first big mistake. His second big mistake was to invade Russia. Invadir. He shouldn't have invaded Russia. Claro, muy fácil a todo pasado, ¿a que sí? Yes, after the fact, decimos, después del hecho, after the fact. It's easy. Yes. Yes. A Monday arbitro del lunes, no? Or for the game. It's easy. But Napoleon shouldn't have invaded Spain, and he shouldn't have invaded Russia. Adolf Hitler shouldn't have invaded any country. If he had stayed only in Germany, he would have been the dictator for 30 years, 40 years. So he shouldn't have invaded France. He shouldn't have invaded Poland. He shouldn't have invaded Belgium. He shouldn't have invaded the Netherlands. He shouldn't have invaded Norway. And he shouldn't have invaded the Soviet Union. Yes, he should have stayed in Germany. He should have stayed in Germany. That's the problem with dictators. They try to invade other countries, and so they fall. For example, they shouldn't have. Yes. Should have. Things we should have done. I should have studied French more seriously. I should have made a stronger effort. I should have made a stronger effort to win more races in track and field. I should have spent more time practicing my drives in golf. La salida de tee. I should have spent more time. Should have. All right. Now, should have. Must have is diferente. Must have is conclusión lógica. No llegó ayer a la cita, pues algo tenía que haberle pasado. Something must have happened to him. Debía haber tenido un accidente o algo. He must have had an accident. Must have is a logical conclusion. But should have is lamentando. I should have done this, but it's too late now. Siempre es demasiado tarde ahora. It's too late. I should have done this, and I shouldn't have done that. All right, should have. That's point 22. There are many. I'm sorry I didn't bring a tie. I was planning to wear a tie, but I forgot. I should have brought a tie today. I'm sorry I didn't bring a tie. I'm sorry I didn't call you yesterday. I should have called you. I'm sorry I didn't have time to finish the vocabulary list yesterday. I should have found the time. I should have. All right. Translation booklet. Vocabulary, no, because I did it 2 days ago. List 23, page 118. All right, are you ready? List 23, page 118. All right. These sentences are getting a little bit more difficult. No voy a decirte nada. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to tell you. Tell you. No digas tell you. Tell you. Tell you. I'm not going to tell you anything. ¿Qué quieres decir? What do you mean? What do you mean you're not going to tell me anything? What do you mean? ¿Cómo que no me vas a decir nada? What do you mean? Tú sabes lo que quiero decir. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. ¿Por qué vas a hacer eso? Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to do that? Porque yo hago lo que quiero en la vida. Because I do what I want. I do what I want. Why are you going to do that? Because I do what I want. ¿Sabes lo que estás diciendo? Do you know what you're saying? What? Lo que. What? Sé lo que quiero. I know what I want. Hago lo que quiero. I do what. La palabra what no solo es qué. ¿Qué quieres? What do you want? Es lo que. Sé lo que quiero en la vida. I know what I want. Lo que necesito ahora es un trago. What I need now is a drink. Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, Richard, what do you need? Lo que yo necesito ahora es un trago. What I need now is a drink. What? Porque hago lo que quiero, because I do what I want. ¿Sabes lo que estás diciendo? Do you know what you're saying? Do you know what you are? Do you know what you're saying? Simplemente estoy diciendo la verdad. I'm just telling the truth. I'm simply telling the truth. Or just. I'm just telling the truth. I'm simply telling the truth. Me encuentro mal, eh? I feel bad. Yeah. Me encuentro un poco pachucho. I feel a little under the weather. We say bajo el tiempo atmosférico, bajo mínimos. I feel bad. I don't feel very well. I don't feel very good now. I'm starting to feel, I don't feel very good. Es porque comes demasiado, Richard. It's because you eat too much. Yeah. Yes, it's because you eat too much. ¿Cómo sabes que como demasiado? How do you know I eat too much? Tengo mis fuentes de información. Oh, I have my sources of information. Source, escrito source. 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 Source es fuente, pero no fuente de beber agua. That's a fountain. Pero fuente de origen de mi información. La fuente. Tengo mis fuentes de información. I have my sources of information. ¿Cuántas espías tienes en la organización? How many spies? A spy. Are you a spy? No, I'm not a spy. I'm an English teacher. Yeah. You're an English teacher, but that's your cover. Tu tapadera. That's your cover. Being an English teacher is a fantastic cover. You're a spy, right? Do you work for the CIA? CIA? What does CIA stand for? CIA stands for Central Intelligence Agency. Are you a spy for the CIA? No. I'm just an English teacher. All right? ¿Cuántas espías tienes en la organización? How many spies do you have in the organization? Los suficientes como para saber muchas cosas. Enough to know a lot of things. ¿Cómo se encuentra ella? How is she doing? How is she doing? Yeah, ¿cómo se siente? ¿Cómo se encuentra físicamente? How does she feel? Yeah, creo que está mejorando. I think she's getting better. I think she's getting better. ¿Se acuerda ella del accidente? Does she remember? Does she remember the accident? The accident? Does she remember the accident? No se acuerda de nada. She doesn't remember anything. ¿Reconoce a la gente? Does she recognize people? Does she recognize people? ¿Cuándo va a dejar el hospital? When is she going? Fíjate cómo la SH de she, con la fuerza de este sonido fonético. When is she going to leave the hospital? ¿Cuándo va a dejar el hospital? When is she going to leave the hospital? When is she? When's she going to leave? When's she? Todo unido. When's she going to leave the hospital? When's she going to leave the hospital? ¿Vais a operarla? Are you going to operate on her? Curiosa forma en inglés de hablar. To operate on is operar. Una intervención quirúrgica. To operate on. ¿Van a operarla? Are they going to operate on her? ¿Dejáis que su familia la visite? Do you let her family visit her? Do you let her family visit? No insertes tú. Do you let her family visit her? ¿Cuándo lo vas a comprobar? When are you going to check it? When are you going to check it? ¿Qué haces cuando estás aquí? What do you do when you're here? Me? What do? I work. I give classes. I teach on the television. I check emails. I answer emails. I write emails. ¿Qué haces cuando estás aquí? What do you do when you're here? What do I do when I'm here? I do a little of everything. Un poco de todo. I do a little of everything. I do a little bit of everything. ¿Quién tiene parientes en América? Vaya cambio. Who has relatives in America? Yo tengo un tío en Canadá. I have an uncle in Canada. I have an uncle in Canada. Okay. That's the end of list 23. But the story continues on list 24 about the uncle in Canada. It's an interesting story about the uncle in Canada. Canada. What's the origin of the word Canada? Canada. Canada. All right, tengo un tío en Canadá. Who has, fíjate, ¿quién tiene parientes en América? Aquí no hay verbo auxiliar, porque el sujeto es who. O realmente el verbo está buscando. O sea, la frase busca el sujeto. ¿Quién tiene parientes en América? Who has? Esta frase, this sentence, who has relatives in America, was a sentence by John Kennedy, the President of the United States. In 1963, before he died, he visited Ireland. Now, the Kennedy family was originally from Ireland. John Kennedy was 100% Irish and Catholic. But he visited Ireland, and he was giving a speech to a big group of people, and he asked, how many people here have relatives in America, in the United States? Everybody raised their hand. Everybody, todo el mundo levantó la mano. Everybody raised their, su de ellos. Para evitar decir everybody raised his or her hand. It's interesting that there are 6 million people in Ireland, and there are 60 million people in the United States of Irish descent. It's very, very interesting. There are a lot of Irish people in Ireland. So, how much time do we have, Marta? Just 1 minute? We have very little time to continue, but we will continue tomorrow with may have. Should have, yo tenía que haberlo hecho de otra manera. I should have done it in a different way. May have is puede que haya. He may have come. Puede que haya venido, pero no estoy seguro. He may have come. But I'm not sure. It's simplemente may. Puede que llueva, puede que no. It may rain, it may not. It may rain, it may not. But right now, I have to say goodbye. See you tomorrow.